All right, I want to set the headstock about 8 or 10 inches from the left-hand side of the machine from where you're looking. And once I get it in place, I'm going to lock the lock here. This says headstock lock. All of these locks are marked. It's printed right on there so you can see exactly what you're looking at here. This is the quill feed and the quill feed lock that you see right here. Here you have the carriage lock and the table height lock. And we'll be using all of those here today. All right, once I've got the headstock set up, I'm going to put the table in place. I'll run the table over, so it's a foot or so from the quill right now. Set the table into the holes of the carriage, let it drop down, and then I'm going to lock it about there. The other lock you want to look at is the table tilt lock right here. And we'll use this now. We're going to tilt this right on over to the 90-degree position. The drill chuck, place it on the spindle. And I always look for the flat spot on the spindle so I know exactly where to attach whatever tool I'm putting on there. And that's very important. It keeps things from coming loose on us. Tighten it, give it a little bit extra. In order to check if you're really on that flat spot, one little tip here, you see this set screw right here? Now you probably don't, but we line up the two set screws. That should give us exactly what we want. And now I'll just grab a drill bit. So we got the drill bit. I place it into the drill chuck. I tighten this by hand until I just get it snug. And then I'll use the chuck key that came with it. This is a 3-jaw chuck, and the way I was taught to do this is always tighten all 3 holes. That makes sure that things are snug and straight. All right, there's our basic setup. Now, the last thing we want to do is raise this up into the drill press mode. Now, on this machine, I happen to have what they call a lift assist on it, which is this device down here. It's a pneumatic device that helps us lift it up. All right, let's take a look at what this looks like when we have it set up in the drill press mode. Here's a good close-up of the tapered flat I was mentioning, and you can see the knurled knob and the set screw. That set screw will always be centered right over the tapered flat, so you can tell where it is. Now here's your drill chuck. All Shopsmith Mark 5s and Mark 7 use a 5/8 inch spindle. Here you can see how they're lined up when I put this in place, and that's really all there is to it. Just fine. One other thing I should point out, down below here is a locking device that locks it up into the drill press mode, and that keeps this from coming back on us, so we want to make sure that that's in place. Anytime you possibly can, it's a good idea to use your rip fence with your drill press. That prevents things from getting away from us. So again, I touch the bit to the wood. From that point, I set the depth that I want. In this case, I'm using a 1/2 inch, and that's going to put a stop right at a 1/2 inch. It's a great feature. Now, if I need to drill through something cylindrical, it's just coming to where those two center, and that's going to put us right in the center. And essentially, what we're doing is building a little V block. Now, if I was going to be drilling all the way through, I would want to put some kind of a backup piece of wood here. And one of the jigs that I use quite a bit, just real simple little homemade jig, is this. And it's a wooden V block basically, but I can just slide that in there, like so, and use that as a backup, just like that. And that should be right centered as well. Okay. And here's a project that's an awful lot of fun if you have kids or grandkids around. It's a little toy train, and you can see the pieces up here for the bell and the whistle and the smokestack are drilled exactly like I'm showing you here with this setup. So we're drilling through a cylindrical piece right down the center. Of course, we don't want these to be crooked one way or the other.